Here they produce one of Scotland's most famous exports, whisky.
And we'll discover how they're protecting Scotch from the changing weather conditions.
And I'm at a vineyard in West Sussex, finding out how climate change and technology are shaping the glass of wine you drink at home.
Join us for Weather World, tomorrow at 10:30 on the BBC News Channel.
On the first day of an historic visit to Ireland, Pope Francis has spoken of his pain and shame over the child sexual abuse scandal in the Catholic Church. Tens of thousands turned out to hear the pontiff address the crowds on what is the first papal visit there in 4 decades.
The failure of ecclesiastical authorities, bishops, religious superiors, priests and others, adequately to address these repugnant crimes has rightly given rise to outrage.
The Pope also met in private survivors of abuse and told them that there would be consequences for those who covered it up. Also tonight. Questions remain over the deaths of a British couple in Egypt as the country's leading prosecutor dismisses claims that poisonous gas might have been to blame. Tensions increase as Venezuela's economic crisis sees Peru impose restrictions on the numbers of migrants crossing its border. Hello, very good evening to you. Pope Francis has spoken of his pain and shame at the failure of the Roman Catholic Church to deal with sexual abuse by the clergy in Ireland. He was speaking on the first day of his 2-day trip to the country, the first papal visit in nearly 40 years. Thousands of people lined the streets to greet the pontiff, who this evening had a private meeting with abuse survivors. Our religion editor, Martin Bashir, reports.
And there's more sport on the BBC Sport website, including coverage of the first stage of the Vuelta a España, which started today without defending champion Chris Froome, who's sitting it out this year. But for now, that's all the sport. Back to you, Kate.
Catherine, thank you very much indeed. You can see more on all of today's stories on the BBC News Channel. That's all from me and the team here. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hello, away from Scotland, it's a bank holiday weekend, and for many, we got off to a reasonable start. Fairly chilly in places this morning, a few spots down to around 2 or 3 Celsius, but most of us have seen some sunshine through the day. We've also had a few showers around, some heavy and thundery in